But here we go. We are here on the BTonez podcast. Man, it's been a minute, but shoot, a minute ain't nothing but 60 seconds. So we coming right back to you. And today, I got a couple guests in the house with me, and today's topic is going to be simply brotherhood. What is the benefits of having brotherhood? You know, what are some of the ways that we can build as brothers? And I know we talk about this a lot. There could be several platforms where this topic is discussed. But today, personally, I got two friends of mine that I go way back with. I'm going to let them talk a little bit more about it, a little bit about what they're doing, a little bit how they know me, how we know one another. And we're just going to get to a free flow conversation. And I hope, just as usual, that you gain a good word from this conversation, because that's what we're going to give you here on the BTonez podcast, man. My man, Kevann Gardner, what's good, lawyer? Talk to me, man. How you doing today?
What's up? Yeah, like you said, man, we've been knowing each other for a long time now. We're getting a little long in the tooth, but it's been decades at this point. We know each other, from college. 90. Well, we don't even have to throw the numbers out there.
We can.
Over 20 years.
But more than 20. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So we're old heads now, but it's crazy because you think back to college when we first met, when we first initially got to know each other, and you just think through the years, and that was 4 years. College is 4 years, and here we are. What are we? 5 times that, 6 times that now, and we're still, as tight as ever. So that's something to I think to be proud of, and it's a great reflection on us. As for me, I'm a lawyer. I'm here in DC, criminal defense, trying to keep these kids out of jail. They're all trying to go. Sis was definitely trying to put them there. So that's kind of where my passion is. That's what I've kind of dedicated career to, is to criminal defense work. I really love it. Love my clients. Love the courtroom. And just happy to be here to chat it up with y'all.
That's what's up, man. We could actually speak a little bit about that. Speaking of your clientele and the topic of this podcast, like, we can talk about some of the benefits that we have, that if they have, maybe they wouldn't want to go to prison. You know what I'm saying? Or be trying to go, you know what I'm saying? Even out of the street. We can talk a little bit about that. But before we jump into those types of conversations, I want to get it to my man, my mogul, my entrepreneur brother, Racheem Sagay. What's going on, bro?
Hey, yo, what's up, family? Just here in these mean streets of South Florida, trying to make $1 out of 15 cents,
What's going on in South Florida these days?
Hurricane 1, Hurricane 2, you know me as your favorite entrepreneur's favorite entrepreneur. And
that's right.
Man, since college, I remember when we were back in school, I just knew I was going to be a doctor, right? I tell people I can't stand the sight of blood. So I'm here doing my thing as an entrepreneur now. I spent 10, 15 years in the laboratory scene as a scientist, and now I just translated that to this mold thing and ripping and running, that's what we're doing.
So you help people with their mold issues, correct?
I do water restoration, dry outs, fire damage restoration, and molds especially. That's my specialty, transferring that science knowledge to the, that we study back in school, taking that microbiology and just applying it to real life, everyday life. I'm glad I get to help people every day too. So that part is rewarding. Helping people, mold is such a mystery, especially when it's in your home. People don't know why they have headaches, why even intestinal issues, allergies, symptoms. And I had a client a couple weeks ago say, thank you. That machine that you put in my house, that air scrubber, I can breathe now at home for the first time in so long. Thank you. And now it's just storm cleanup, which is crazy in and of itself. But we'll get into that.
Speaking on that, I don't want to jump off that too soon. What's like a quick word you can give somebody if they have like mold, they're dealing with something?
An indicator is, like I tell people all the time, the greatest problem you can have in your home disaster is not fire, it's not gas, it's water. If you have water in your house, a drip, a leak, don't ignore it. Like if it's under your bathroom sink, under your kitchen sink, your shower, or it's a spot that's just growing on your ceiling or something like that, do something about it. People sometimes are passive, but just that musty odor that you smell when you know something smells damp or dank, that type of smell, a lot of moisture. Like people, you go in people's houses and it's just dank, like with the floor sweating, the counter sweating. These are all indications that you probably have a water issue or a mold issue, because mold always, the source is going to be water. So there was a water event, whether it's behind your sink or counter, you don't know it's there, or something you do know it's there, it's always going to start with the water.
Yeah. Okay. See, gems being dropped already, man. If you got that problem in your house, you got water dripping, go clean that joint up like right now.
Yeah, call a plumber, call your uncle, call whoever you got to call, but don't let it fester. It only gets worse.
Man, speaking a little bit on the history of how us three know one another, man. You know, friendships form in college like all the time. But as my brother Kevann said, this bond that we got like right here, it is endured. And not only has it endured, but it's like been strengthened through the years. I know every gentleman on this call has been through ups and through downs, and each one of us has been there for one another, no matter what it is, no matter how much time has elapsed. And that's one of the good things I know about both of y'all. It's like, I don't care if it's been weeks or months. If I pick up the phone and call Kevann, he's just gonna say one word, one letter. He's gonna be like, G. And I would say the same thing. And if I call Racheem, he may be a little bit more upset, but he gonna say the same thing too. I know for certain that these two brothers have seen my good and my bad, and they don't judge me for it. They don't look at me crazy for it. There's no type of front and there's no type of faking. And once you have that with certain people who accept it, because you may have that and some people may not like you for it. Some people may talk behind your back for it. But because we actually went through something difficult together way back when, and we came together as a unit, then we were able to, see the pluses and the minuses of each individual and be like, you know what? I'm gonna stand with my brother, or I'm going to support my brother no matter what, because that's my man's. So what are some of the differences that you've known with our unit, with our group, versus anybody else?
With us, it starts with orange and blue and kind of going through that journey together.
Right.
And we were young at the time. We were teenagers, and we decided to kind of take on that journey together. And going through that, I think that kind of forged a bond that was one that was a little different, because it wasn't just you were casually friends with someone. You actually experienced something with them. You went through that journey and that fire together. I think that's a big part of the reason why, we always kept in touch since then. And we've always, the bond that we formed then, it still is here now, because it never really went away. Naturally, college, you're there for 4 years, so you meet so many people from so many places, and going to a HBCU is just a wonderful experience, because you see so many just kind of different types of blackness in the same place, and it's just kind of that atmosphere is hard to describe, but those who know,
special.
It's special, very special. But a lot of those people, you keep in touch with some, but you can't keep in touch with everyone, and you have different people that you really do stay in touch with for that stand the test of time. And I think, us, that's just how it is.
It's got to be like, to echo what Kevann said, pledging Gamma Psi Gamma back in we crossed in 2000, bro.
2000, that's right.
That experience, that whether it be you went to basic training or in the military with somebody, college, those experiences where you go through something together, something as crazy as what we did, back when we were teenagers. And those experiences, they bond you for a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? You have those people. These people go to jail together. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, we was best friends for 2 years or whatever. It's that experience, that shared experience. You can't get that everywhere.
You kind of see the comparisons in contrast to your real life siblings, because I know both of y'all got siblings, just like I got a sibling. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's kind of the difference between what you got with you on your familiar side and what you got with this unit right here.
That's interesting, because Shane, go ahead, you go first.
No, I was gonna say that treat y'all just like my brothers. I get on my nerves the same way. It's I just know you guys are there. Sometimes I refer to y'all as my drunk uncles, because y'all in the family, I get on my nerves. But you're in the family, you're not going anywhere. You know what I mean? So it's just like your brothers.
Right. I was gonna say something a little bit similar in that, in the way you say it's just like your brothers. I think a big part of that is friends just kind of come and go. And, if you don't talk to a friend in a little while, you don't know what they kind of did with their life. Sometimes they may have moved on. But when you have someone who's more like family, even if you're not blood related, it doesn't really matter kind of what happens. It doesn't matter how long you haven't talked. And it doesn't really, you never really expect to ever go your separate ways, regardless of what it is. That person's going to always be there. They're just kind of a fixture in your life. And I think that's kind of the difference between more casual friends and friends who have kind of become family.
One thing I definitely treasure, especially amongst you brothers, is one of the things that we became once we came through that process. We were now lords of discipline. You know what I mean? And those traits and those characteristics were built in that difficult process when we were going through coming online into the fraternity. And so that, played a huge part between making what we went through so intense. But the thing that I respect about all that is because I've seen each one of you branch out into the area of your expertise. Just like Racheem said, me and Racheem was sitting in a biology class, both expecting to be doctors. I'm not that, he's not that, but at least he's doing something with science. You know what I mean? I'm not doing nothing with science right now. I've seen Racheem take his chances in regards to entrepreneurship. And every time I watched the move that he made, it was inspiring or kind of like a kick in the pants to do something myself. Same way with Kevann. Kevann, I respect your position probably more so than because you constantly got to be ready to articulate and speak on someone else's behalf. So your work and your job, somebody else is depending on you doing something very well. And you presenting your case versus somebody who's pleading probably the opposite of what you're pleading in front of a judge. So each and every case is personal. And then I've sat down and talked with you about some of the things that these youths have gone through. Some clear disadvantages that none of us had to deal with, And when I think about those things, I think about the progress and the steps that we've made, growing as men and growing into our own, professions and what we're doing. And I take nuggets from both of y'all, whether it is in minor conversations or in experiences. One thing I definitely want to put out there too, you got that group of friends that you could travel with and the ones that you can't. Now, these two right here are two brothers I know I could travel with, and we know one another's strengths and weaknesses.
Don't start that laugh.
We know. I'm trying not to laugh, but it's like
don't start.
It's like as soon as we cross a border and we got to use passports, I know what Kevann's gonna be up to, and I know what Racheem's gonna be up to, like from the jump street. But it's a comfort in knowing that because it's not too wild to the point where I'm just like, nah, I ain't messing with them barrels. You know what I'm saying? It's all like, nah, let's go. Because we know at the end of the whole experience, we just could be like, yeah, we glad we did. We took a trip to Belize a couple years ago now. Yeah, and it was a celebration of my man Racheem beating cancer. That was needed. It was treasured and it was memorable for that reason alone. It's like it made it even better. So, and then what we did and how it came together was just immaculate and excellent. And I think trips like that and experiences like that help you bond more so as a unit, but not only just to be friends, but to push one another to build even better. Because once we had a taste of that experience, what do we want to do? We want to do more of that.
We want to do more, yeah.
We want to do more of that.
Sometimes I sit back and I do be thinking about this. I'd be like, these knuckleheads, like this guy's handling top of the line murder cases and like life or death situations. And this other knucklehead is like in charge of people, like a big time GS something in Department of Energy. Like we're really successful. Like it's not like I'm necessarily starting from the bottom, but where we came from. Yeah. But we thought we were so grown and knew it all and like directionless young men. You know what I mean?
Come on, man. Come on.
And I'm like, yo, look at us. Like, look at us. I feel like I'm on a roller coaster every day, every year in my business because it's like not being beholden to nobody. I'm the boss. It's success for me. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like the longer I do it, like 7 years I've been an entrepreneur. But I say all that to say is I'll be looking back like, wow, like we're doing this life thing, and I'm very proud of us. I'm very proud of you guys. I don't normally say this, but I be reflecting. I'm like, yo, I'm proud of my guys because we came out to be some pretty decent young, men. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We were some great men. So, and a lot of that is Oakwood. I think Oakwood is a melting pot, like a what do they call it in Cali, where they all get together and they have the meetings of the minds. I forget the name of a think tank, maybe. So many people from in our class, and have gone on to do a lot of great things in different parts of the society in the world. So, it's just crazy to me. It blows my mind when I think about it.
Right. And time travels so fast because I feel like my parents or something, but I can remember way back when, decades ago, when we were in Huntsville. That doesn't seem like that long ago. And the things we were doing don't seem, time just flies by quickly.
I feel like lifetimes ago to me, man. I feel like I lived about 2-3 different lives since then.
I mean, we've done a lot and seen a lot since then, but it still feels like yesterday to me.
It's always a good thing to stop and count blessings, man. One thing, like a couple of coaches that I'm starting to do business with outside of this, we're forming a group called the Grateful Brothers. And the main theme that we have is when we start any conversation amongst ourselves or with clientele, we start off with gratitude. So we talk about the things that we're grateful for. And they could be something very simple, man, about the, I like Racheem, we know that, as I stated before, you dealt with a serious bout with cancer.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that you living and breathing, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's all icing on the cake from here, man.
These types of setbacks that people deal with, sometimes they deal with them, in private. You know what I mean? And I've always been thankful that, shoot, man, it can get rough depending on, what I'm dealing with. Because launching out into the entrepreneur space myself, there's sacrifices you have to make. Serious. Yeah. And there's serious investment that you have to make, with your own funds to like get going. And it is, it's intriguing, but it's also invigorating at the same time, because it's just like what you're saying. To work, to be able to be your own boss and do your own thing is like, to be able to get your time back. Time is is the only currency that we cannot get back. If you lose money, you can get money. If you lose time, you can't get time. Simple as that, man. I know that you're branching out, Racheem. You got the store ownership. You're doing the renovation with the mold. I'm launching, podcasting, and I'm doing a coaching program with several other like-minded individuals. Kevann, I know I don't want to say too much about it.
Let it out, man. Let it out.
Okay.
Let it out.
Kevann is leaving his current his law firm, to branch out on his own. You know what I'm saying? These are like that. Like we announced.
I gotta hear about it on the podcast, fam.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, it's a developing story. It's just happening right now. Law is what I've done. It's what I do. It's what I know. What I don't know is, running a business. That's never really been my background. That hasn't really been something that I've done. So that was always kind of a bit of the hesitation with, hanging my own shingle and starting my own practice. But to watch y'all boys and to see what you guys are doing, to see how you guys aren't answering to anyone because you're doing your own thing. It's not only inspiring, but it also gives me a little comfort. Like, okay, my guys are doing it. I know I can do it too. And I know I can be all right. And I know that although I'm not having the same, check coming every 2 weeks, I can make it happen. And I have enough faith in myself to, make sure I do that.
It's an exciting time. I would tell you, enjoy this. I know it's like nerve-wracking, but it's exciting because it's the honeymoon phase. Enjoy this. Enjoy this newness. Enjoy when you put your logo up. All of that. Enjoy that stuff, because all that I heard Brad mention, getting your time back. It's a misnomer. It's a trick. All you get to do is make the schedule. Like, do I go to work at 9? Do I go to work at 11? You are going to work more than you do at your job now. You will work more.
You work more, so then later on you can work less. You
just get a bigger piece of the pie, man.
It's a different type of work too, because when you are building it for yourself, it just has a different feeling to it when you're working.
I used to consider learning and watching stuff or reading stuff to learn something. I used to just equate that back with college, in school and stuff like that. So I wasn't interested in doing it. But when it came down to the development of self so that I can excel in this current area that I'm in right now, then I was locked in. So so this is my point on this, is like, if I'm engaging in and I'm looking at and I'm looking up information that directly pertains to the goal that I'm trying to achieve, then it's not boring to me. I watched several of David Shan's podcasting tutorial videos and even went through a program that he had because I just wanted to be better in front of the mic. Our mindset was like, how can I be even better than I already am? We already know there's people with skill out there, but to develop that and even be more based on a goal that they want to achieve. Like Racheem, what did you? I know you had to learn a couple things, and Kevann, I know you had to learn some things to be a lawyer and to be an entrepreneur. Like, did you enjoy any of it, or was it just like, oh, I got to do this?
I enjoyed the excitement of building the business up. Like, I thrive on having to do different things every day, and maybe I have a little bit of ADHD or whatever the word is, because I like to stay busy trying different things and like learning. People talk about the stress of wearing different hats as an entrepreneur. I enjoy it. I enjoy having to learn accounting and learn QuickBooks. It forces you to focus on improve your weaknesses. Like, I hate selling. Asking for a deal. Like, will you do business with me? Maybe it's an ego thing, but I just hate that part of it. I hate I'm a very good scientist, but getting in front of people and asking them for their business is just not a comfortable place for me.
Yeah.
So I had to do that though. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I thought if I just have a quality product or a service and, you know, people need it, like you have mold, I can fix the mold. You know, it's not easy. You got to really get out there and be like, hey, will you really, you know, do business with me? And if not, why? Put people on the spot like that, you know what I'm saying? And cause them to make a decision, you know? Yes, it's expensive, it's an investment.
Put yourself out there a little bit.
Yeah, you know, and I have to do that. And the only other thing I'll say about being an entrepreneur is that your personality is going to shine through. If you were late to work every day when you worked for Uncle Sam, you're going to be late to your own job every day. Like, it makes you level up. It forces you to be a better person. I'm a procrastinator, and I missed out on some bags because I didn't get back in time, or I didn't turn around that estimate like I said I would. You know what I mean? So it forces it out of you.
A discipline, man.
Yeah.
Discipline has to rise to the top. And actually, that's why I'm like very thankful for you brothers in this idea, because I talked to Kevann about doing what we're doing right now, like weeks, maybe months ago, but it had been a period where I just had like a mental fog on like what to put out there. I felt like I talked about what was important, and there was a period where you just like ain't got no clarity, and it was really coming down to a point to where I was just like, man, I'm like, I don't even know, but I don't want to quit. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to stop. And when this idea to have this podcast came back up, not only was it right on time, the topic came to me immediately. And the reason why I appreciate that is because when it's effortless and it just comes to you and you're flowing in what you're supposed to do, that's better. Rather than trying to force something. I never ever want, it's kind of like what you're talking about, Racheem, with like being forced to sell. There's an element or a state in which you get to right now as an entrepreneur where you can just flow into that because people know who you are, they respect who you are, and you don't have to do that no more. Maybe initially you have to do it, but when people begin to see the type of person you are and the work ethic that you have, then you don't have to that much more. You got to put the reps in. No matter what it is, you got to get the reps in. Kevann, you're going to be successful because you have all the reps. You're already a master of the trade, your craft. So you're not necessarily learning to do what you do. You're just learning your system. You know,
and kind of learning the business, because that's the thing that I realized is you can be a great attorney. Like the most successful attorneys are not necessarily the best attorneys. They're the best businessmen who know how to market themselves, who know how to get customers. Because a lot of times a customer can tell the good from the great. It can get lost in the sauce, but they know this person has a good way to advertise them or something that brought them in. Right. And that's the one thing that I was always nervous about is like, advertising is not really my thing. You know, getting customers isn't really my thing. I know I'm good once I'm in the courtroom.
You're a people person though.
But that's what I kind of have to lean into. I never really associated that with business. So that's always just been kind of social.
Yeah, man, I got a business partner of mine. He does my AC work, HDJ Mechanical. Shout out to Shaq. But this guy, he's just a people person. Like he walks into somebody's house and he's just like, oh, your grandmother's from Italy, and they'll just start talking. You know, it's so easy for him to. People he just assumes the sale. He just starts working, and people pay him for the AC work. And I'm just like, yo, you don't know how talented you are. And he's just like, what? You know. So you're that guy where you relate to people very well. So I don't see you having a problem.
Before we proceed, I want to pause on that right there because what you stated, it's not about thinking about who we're talking to and what we want from them. It's just being yourself, man. Both of you brothers are not born dudes. You know what I'm saying? You're not born. You're also not unpleasant. There's some people I know around right now, if I pick up the phone, they're going to have something negative to say, and I'm going to want to hang up within 5 seconds of speaking to them. That's not the case with you guys. So it's like, Kevann, I want you to take that into, you already being a people person and you going into business, man. Just be yourself, because now you don't have the restrictions of a firm that you're working for. You represent yourself.
Right.
That same skill that you did to accumulate all those people for any type of party or get together, applying it, it's going to be more of a breeze than you think. That's what I think. I think it's going to be more of a breeze than you think. And
that's real. I never really thought about it that way. That's real.
And we got to pray for Racheem because we know he gets upset a lot, especially being in Florida.
I hate small talk. I be talking to customers and I just want the conversation to be over so bad. Like, it's just like, why are we talking? Let me just do the work.
But the magic, the machine, that's it. That's the difference between you and Shaq. The magic is in the small talk. But the thing is, find the commonality between you and your client, no matter what it is. Y'all got something in common, depending on who you're speaking to, of course.
I'm definitely getting better at it. Today, the client I had, he's like, I found out we both were from Queens. So we hit it off on that, growing up in New York. And, got to find out this guy played for the Mets. And we sit around talking for a long time. Yeah, it's an older guy down in Boca. But, like I said, you got to just put the reps in until you're comfortable with whatever it is that you're not comfortable with. So
yeah, the type of vibration that you can put out there as soon as you meet somebody, like off the initial meeting. There was one individual, a client, that I wanted to sit down and have an interview with. This person is in finance, so I wanted to gain some tutelage from this brother. So what I did was, before I spoke to him, I reviewed in my mind the positive things that I brought to the table, the things I was already thankful for. And then when I got into conversation with him, the first question I asked him was like, man, you look like you're successful and doing well. What is one of the great experiences that you've had lately? And he went into talking about his daughters. First and foremost, I didn't even know he had daughters. He has 2 little girls. He's raising them to be just as business and financially savvy as he is. And once he started talking about that, it opened up the conversation for everything. I was like, man, I need to take a couple jewels for you too. Where can I put my money instead of underneath the mattress? You know what I'm saying? Where can I put dividends? And from there, the conversation just went. Because initially I was nervous about my financial illiteracy in comparison to him. So I didn't know how to come to him, with that type of conversation. But just opening it up to something we can both identify as being, that's a good thing, conversation starter. Don't go into any meeting with any clientele thinking about what you can get from them. Just start out with something even plain, even like we're all human beings. We want to definitely relate to one another before we start anything, man. And I found that to be like it's a good icebreaker. It takes the pressure off your shoulders, and you'll be amazed how many connections you make just doing that. Before we jump out of here, man, I wanted to give a mic to both of y'all just to speak on maybe some pluses or reasons why, if people are in relationships with friends they're trying to build with, or they have friends they're trying to get away from who ain't doing nothing but BS, like give them some pointers or something like that based on what we got going on. Do they need to take a trip? Do they need to go have a recreational event? They need to pick up the phone and have a long conversation. Anything that comes to mind that you believe would be beneficial for somebody else to hear. Because I do know this, when you're starting and you're doing entrepreneurship and you're doing your own ventures, it can get lonely real quick. Because everybody is focused on their sole pursuits. And one of the things I've learned is collaboration always makes the load lighter. Always. Many hands make light work. So for instance, Racheem and Kevann, y'all got instances where it's difficulty promoting or doing something like this. You already know. With me, I could put a sexy voice on the microphone and size all y'all businesses. You know what I'm saying? I can do that. You know what I mean?
Communications maestro, right?
Yeah. And I believe that.
No, jumping on what you said, the first thing that comes to mind, because, and this is something that I know I'm gonna have to tell myself every day, is emotion is not gonna carry the day, because emotions come and go. And I know that I'm very emotional about kind of my cases in general and just kind of practicing law, especially criminal defense. But it's more about consistency and having those habits that you do every single day, because there are going to be days where you don't want to do those little things that you need to do. And you can kind of cut corners or kind of just not go all out. And that always catches up with you. So the main thing that I'm kind of taking with me is, because emotion is going to be there, but there will be some days when it's not there. Having those consistent habits that I do every day, regardless of how I'm feeling, regardless of whether I want to, just making sure that I do it and kind of disciplining myself in that way. I think that's kind of the one takeaway that I know I have to carry with me if I'm going to do what I need to do.
For me, it's, as far as relationships, man, find your people. It's really like that. It's straight like that. Get on the vibration with people who's on your vibration. And when you find your people, hold on to your people. Because we all in the same fraternity, but there's lots of other people in the fraternity that we're not this close with. The deal is once you find your people, hold on to them. And the adverse of that is when people are not your people, let them go, let them walk, let them skate. If you get red flags off the rip, I'm by vibes, bro. I don't want to keep my circle small, Because you're really trying to, if you're going to add people to your life, they got to be people that's going to elevate you, people that's where you're trying to go and that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, no new friends, and just, you know, hold on, love those who love you is really that. Yeah, but on the entrepreneurial tip, what I would really say is like, it's full of ups and downs, highs and lows. Like, I still remember to this day when I got that first real check. For the first 2 years of my business, I was still working my full-time job as a lead chemist for like one of the top 3 chemical companies in the country, and hustling at night trying to grow this thing. So it was like for 2 years, like just 9 to 5 and then 9 to 12 every night and on the weekends, trying to build it up. But my first check, I think I made like $1,200 and my profit was like $200. My first job. But then I kept at it and I didn't get a job for like 5 months straight. I did not get a job, no gigs. I was like, all right, maybe it's time to hang this thing up, you know, like whatever. And then I got that check in January. I didn't have a job again until June. And then by October, I got this one payment that was more than half my salary for the year as a chemist. And then my eyes got big and I was like, it's real, you know? And then I was like, baby, I'm quitting my job. She was like, boy, you gotta go back to work. So I hung on for like another 6 months, but bro, it was like, deuces, I got something here. You know, that feeling, that exhilaration is why entrepreneurs keep going. You have to be a little crazy, man. But when you bet on yourself and then you win, like you score that touchdown, when you get that fat check,
yeah, man,
there's nothing like it. Then it's like a bug. I'm addicted now. You know, I got the company, the multi-mediation company. That's my bread and butter. It's my baby. And now I got this beauty supply store, and it's like a whole nother monster. You know, bought a beauty supply store. Don't know nothing about beauty. You know, 50-50 partners. I got a partner, and like 2 years in, I'm like, oh, this online sales. Okay, I can do this. And now I got another thing bubbling. So it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
That's what's up, man.
Like, I'm just rubbing my hands together. I love it. No, I love entrepreneurship. It's like, I wish I would have known now what I 20 years ago when I was out of school, you know? Right, man. I wish I would have known these things.
One thing, just jumping on that, wishing you would have known something back then. I have a lot of clients who have made some mistakes in their lives, been in jail for however long and blah, blah, blah. One thing they've taught me is that there's no timing on life. And when things happen, they happen. And I talked to a guy, he's older now, but he really has kind of figured it out. And he says, you know, it's one thing to say, yeah, I wish I would have knew this 30 years ago. But he's like, none of that matters because I know it now and I'm doing what I have to do now. So that's something that really resonated with me. And it also applies
when the time is right.
Yeah, this legal career. And, you know, I've been at this spot for a long time and jumping out on by myself, part of me is like, man, I'm kind of used to this, and you know, that's what's comfortable, but there's no timing on it, and the time is right when the time is right for you. So jumping out with both feet.
It's so true. It's so true. You always hear about people like Colonel Sanders and stuff who like started their new careers late in life and, you know, had great success or whatever. So it's definitely possible.
I be sitting here talking to both of you young looking brothers like, yo, where's late in life for us, man? I've learned quite recently that a man doesn't reach his prime until 35 to 45, man. I thought I knew everything younger than that, but you ain't been through enough experiences. You ain't been through enough failures to learn how to do something the correct way. Because it's the only way you learn. I tell my clients all the time, man, it's either win or learn, not win or lose. So try to accumulate your failures so that you can become wise. And if you do that, shoot, you'll be able to see the fruit of it. If nobody else does, you'll be able to see because you know what's right and what's wrong. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up off that, man. I appreciate both of you brothers as we always do. Got love for both of you brothers like you know I always do. For the listening viewers, man, I'm glad you guys joined us. I hope you picked up a couple nuggets, but you already know that's what we do here, man. Conversations with brothers who I know are doing something and got plenty of things going on. And no matter what, whoever comes across this platform is going to be grateful for something. And that should remind you to be grateful of everything, because one thing we could truly say is being at the age we are in the country that we're living in, we're lucky to be alive and be thriving the way that we are. We can all get an amen to that. So without further ado, we're going to shut this thing down. I give thanks to my boy Kevann. Give thanks to my boy Racheem. You'll see all the information in the comments section. If you got comments or questions, go ahead and leave them down there, man. I love the feedback. But again, this is BTonez podcast, the value of brotherhood and hopefully, or sisterhood. Hopefully you can find that within your own circles. Until the next time, may y'all bless and keep you. Peace.
Amen.